Hi again, class. I want to start this next video with us correcting your homework from page 11 and 12. So if you need a second to get it out, go ahead and pause the video. I am going to go over a couple of the questions in a little more detail. If there's something I didn't cover that you were still confused on, make sure you email me. So let's talk about number 18. So in number 18, it is a real world example. So we're looking at Jane and Sarah, who are diving from the surface of a pool. So we're going to consider the surface 0 if we were talking a number line. So here's the surface, here's the water. This is like 0. And all I'm doing is I'm turning the number line on its side. So everything going up from 0 will be positive numbers. And everything going down from 0 are going to be negative numbers. So when I'm diving, which way am I going? That's right, you're going negative. So Jane, dives down 5 feet. So she goes down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I label all of these, that's like -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. And then she dives down 3 more feet. So now we're going to go, let me get my little arrow out of here. 1, 2, 3 more. That's -6, -7, -8. And when we look at that, that's like saying she dove down, so we know it's -5 feet. And we're going to combine that with -3 feet. And all together, she went down. We know down because we know it's negative because it's down 8 feet. So I took the absolute value of the 5 and the 3, I made it 8 after combining it, and then I kept the sign and made it negative. And when you do that with, what is her name? With Sarah as well, Sarah dives down 3 feet and then dives down 5 more feet. So really, they're both diving down 8 feet. Hopefully that makes sense. So, does the order in which you add the two integers with the same sign affect the sum? No, the order doesn't matter, because think about it. If I went down the 5 feet and then the 3 feet, I still went 8 feet. If I went down 3 feet and then 5 feet, I still went down 8 feet. So the order doesn't matter here. All right, I'm going to pick up the pace a little. So number 19, the answer is -11. Number 20, the answer is -9 because the team lost a total of 9 yards. And you can see how in certain real-world examples, certain numbers lend themselves to being positive and certain numbers lend themselves to being negative. If I'm going up in temperature, I'm going in a positive direction. If I'm going down in temperature, a negative direction. If I'm gaining points, that might be positive, that might be negative, depending on how you're looking at the sport you're playing. Number 21, the answer is -54. 22, the answer is -18 for letter A. For letter B, the answer is -8. And for letter C, the answer is Jonestown. Number 23, the answer is -260. If you have any other questions on these problems, maybe one that you got wrong, I want you to do 2 things. I want you to, 1, pick one that you got wrong and add it to the bottom of your math journal, redo it, and just write me a little short, not even a full sentence, explaining to me what you did wrong. If you did get them all right, maybe you just pick one and explain it anyways. You could pick number 18 since I already explained it to you. That would be okay. If you need to pause the video right now, the next thing that we're going to do is go over the lesson for 1-2. We're going to now add with integers with different signs. So go ahead and pause if you need to. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and erase this. Now, I think it's really important that you look at the counters. So the counters, we're going to make reds negatives, and we're going to make yellows positive. And you're going to come up with your own counters sometime this week. You can use checkerboard pieces, you can use poker chips, You can just draw little circles and color them different colors. You can use nickels and pennies, whatever you want. But I'm going to go ahead and label this so we don't forget. Negative, positive. And what you need to know is every time I have two counters together, a positive and a negative, they completely cancel each other out. Okay? So, when I'm looking at doing, let's say for instance, -3 combined with a +2 now. So notice what's different between what we did before. Now we have positive and negative numbers. So our math is a little different. And that's why I like to say combine, not add. Because the math that you're actually doing isn't going to be addition. Let me show you what I mean. So -3. Here are my 3 counters. 1, 2, 3. Negative. How many positive counters do I need? 2. 1, 2. These are positive. These cancel each other out. So you're not even going to consider those because that's making 0. So what is left over? 1. And what sign is it? Negative. So this equals -1. Now, you're going to have really big numbers here soon. You are not going to be able to use counters like this when we have -37 and +35. The amount of poker chips or checkerboard pieces you would need would be insane. So we do have to have a different method. So this is the method that we're going to use. If you have different signs, and I want you to write this in your math journal or your math notebook, different signs. What did I do with 3 and 2? Don't think negative, don't think positive. Just 3 and 2. What did I do with 3 and 2 to get 1? I subtracted them. So when I have different signs, I'm going to subtract the numbers Now, where did this negative come from? Because I subtracted the numbers. 3 minus 2, I got my 1. So where did this negative come from? Second part of this rule. Keep the sign of the bigger number. And when I say bigger number, I mean the absolute value. So which one's bigger? Don't look at the sign. Which one's bigger, 3 or 2? 3's bigger. What sign was 3? Negative. That's how I knew to keep that negative on the 1. So finish this rule. Different signs. Subtract the numbers. Keep bigger numbers sign. Okay, please put that in your math notebook. If you need to pause the video, do that. I'm going to keep moving on. So that's when we have different signs. Since we're here, let's go ahead and make a rule officially in our math notebook when you have the same sign. So, give me a second to erase. We're going to go ahead and write in our math notebook, same sign. This one is what we did before. You're going to add the numbers. Even though I like to say combine, we're going to write add. We're going to add the numbers and keep the sign. Please write that in your math notebook. If you need to pause, you can. Next, what I want you, because this is our rule from yesterday, I want to talk about when I have two counters, a negative and a positive, same amount. So these numbers are called a number and its opposite. Okay, and these equal 0. And your example is -3 combined with a +3 equals 0. If I go down 3 feet in that pool and then I come back up 3 feet, where are you? You're at 0. So another way to look at it is 3 negatives on your counter, 3 positives, and because they all equal each other out, we know that our answer is 0. So I want you to take these rules and really look at them every time you do the problem. And every problem you do, I want you to ask yourself questions. Do they have the same sign? Do they have different signs? Or are they opposites? Once you answer that question, go to your notes and use that rule. So I want you to try these problems. And they are not going to be problems you can use counters with, so you're going to have to really stick to those rules. So in your math notebook, go ahead and write the words you try. Okay, so you're already under the heading of 1.2 like it says in the lesson plans. And then just label somewhere real quick, you try. And I want you to try these problems. Now, am I sitting at your house? Do I know if you're really trying or if you're just waiting for me to give you the answer? I don't. But if you don't try it, you're never going to know if you can do it on your own. And I'm going to give you the answers when you're done, so don't worry. Just try it. See how you do. You try number 1. Go ahead and do negative 51 plus 23. You try number 2. Go ahead and do 10 plus negative 18. You can also call this negative 51 combined with positive 23. You can call this positive 10 combined with negative 18. How did I know this 10 was positive? That's right, because it's our default. If there's nothing written, we know it's positive. You're only going to see that positive if it's the end of the problem. So this one we're going to assume is positive. So pause the video, look at your notes, and try these 2 problems. Okay, hopefully you paused. Let me tell you how you would do these. So we asked our question, same sign or different sign? Different sign. That means we're subtracting. Do we ever subtract 23 minus 51? Do we do that? No, that'd be weird, right? So just do it the normal way. We're going to do 51. Now, I always write my work kind of off to the side, and then I bring my answer back into the problem. Trust me, that makes it a little more organized. So my rule says if they have different signs, I'm going to subtract the numbers. And when I say the numbers, I mean the absolute value. So just 51. Don't worry about the sign yet. 23. Okay, so I do my math. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 2. So I get 29. But there's another part to that rule. You have to keep the sign of the bigger number. So which one's bigger? Don't worry about the signs. 51 or 23? 51. And what sign is 51? Negative. So our answer is negative. Sorry, I'm going to erase this just because I ran out of room. On your paper, don't erase your work. Please leave it. So negative 29. Does that make sense? All right, so same with this one. We're going to do 18 minus 10 because it would be weird to do 10 minus 18. It just wouldn't make sense. We get 8. So I know my answer has an 8, but then I have to follow the second part of the rule. Keep the sign of the bigger number. 18 is bigger, it's negative. Okay, so hopefully this makes sense. Like I said, if it doesn't, stop and just email me and we'll go back over something that maybe you were confused on. And I will see you next time.